of the best of South Africa. I'm going to call upon Kanyamusi as profession and honors degree, leadership history, African student president in North Caucasus Federal University, student year 2017 district in Emmen.
Good afternoon, Honorable President, Honorable. Good evening. The graduate from that, thank you for coming to be part of the My name is Adam Musi. I'm from Festival. He said, I'm a civil engineer by profession. I specialize in construction. And I work in Department of Public Works, Road and Transport as an intern. So we are a group of 54. So out of the group of 54, all 54 of them have graduated over time. So we do have our challenges in our achievements that because graduated, our achievement is that we have all graduated over time, and then we have never been arrested, being prosecuted of any wrong. So we do have. To place them into the young professional that we advertise somewhere in March. And then we'd like this to happen as we have submitted in Malanga to the Kenya on 21 March. We'd like them to be placed in the program. And then we'd like also for the program to be paid according to the list. Because it's not as for young people, they are being paid in program where you get 3,000. Or 5,000, 6,000, 1 and the living salary, like living wages. So the young professional program is a special program for engineers. As engineers, we are not space. We need to visit site. To visit site, we need a wage. Government doesn't make money. So the salary will enable us to get the benefits that any government will get that car allowance we should use our own private. So in terms of the process, they are paid, those that are paid the utilize our own private use and then cell phone allowance to them. But we like for those that pay to be paid in the young professional so that they can also get exposure into the workplace.
Thank you very much. Kanya Musi, thank you very much. With that experience you related. The next person we're going to call is Dr. Mabongi Jessica Nyalungu, a graduate from Desavan Tambo State University. Currently a third-year law student at the University of South Africa. Interesting fact about her is that she traveled to many cities in Russia, Moscow, to mention a few, and Orenburg, Sarvatov, Anizuzaze Zondau, Zaziwa and Himka. She's also a leader of the South African students in Tambov and in Russia as a whole. She had the second International Summer Educational Summit. She attended, and top 10 most active foreign student at Devon, Tambov State University. She also participated at the Winter Olympic opening in Moscow. And she's also a participant at the BRICS Project Lab, a participant in Eurasia Global hosted in Orenburg, top 10 most active foreign student, graduate of BRICS International School, a participant in representing the International Court of Justice at the Diplomatic Academy, best memorandum in representing the International Court of Justice at the Diplomatic Academy, skydiving, top 10 best foreign graduate, BRICS International School, and currently she's got a few Russian language awards, and she's currently the face of Africa for the St. Petersburg State University. That is Dr. Nyalungu.
No, I'm a little bit short. In 2015, I had a heartfelt conversation with my grandmother who was fighting uterine cancer. I promised to become a doctor to help her, but she told me that yes, I will become a doctor, but unfortunately she will not be there to witness this. Sadly, after a few weeks, she did pass away. Today, I proudly stand before President Cyril Ramaphosa as Dr. Jessica Nyalungu. A medical graduate from Russia who graduated in 2023. I'm also a third-year law student from UNISA. Greetings to President Cyril Ramaphosa and the Premier and honorable members of Mpumalanga Department of Education, Russian graduates, and all present. I express my deep gratitude for the valuable opportunity to study medicine in Russia through the government scholarship program. We are truly thankful for the investment made in our future and the support shown towards education and youth development. My exploration for traveling in Russia earned me the nickname Dora the Explorer because I visited over 15 cities, impressing the locals of Russia. I also ate an apple from President Lenin's garden, and which was a memorable moment for me that connected me to Russia's history. As mentioned, my achievements, I will not go through them because they were mentioned, such as United Nations Best Delegate and Best Memorandum, BRICS projects, etc. And yeah, despite our desire to contribute to society with our education and skills, we are troubled by the fact that we are currently unemployed. Our qualifications and determination are not being utilized, which is disheartening. We suggest introducing programs for Russian medical graduates similar to the Nelson Mandela Fidel Castro program for the Cubans, hoping for negotiations between President Ramaphosa and President Putin. We aim for 6 to 18-month programs and the government to take us to universities such as Sefako Mokgato University in 2024 as promised. As BRICS nations, we believe that we may be exempt from the HPCSA board exam. I understand that Mr. President is busy with a lot of problems, but Mr. President, you have the key to our lives. I ask for the support in providing employment opportunities. In the words of Zahara, the late Zahara, pendula, President Ramaphosa, pendula. We once again express our sincere gratitude for the scholarship opportunity that has shaped our lives. Amongst us, we have future leaders, ministers, politicians, advocates, surgeons, therapists, professors, World Health Organization workers who will help the society for the better. I urge everyone to continue dreaming and working hard because dreams do come true. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. Well said. Give her a good round of applause. Thank you very much. The next speaker is going to be Dr. Ebenezer Mokhau Matsane, a veterinary scientist. She graduated from the Saratov State Agrarian University in August 2022 with a degree in veterinary medicine. She passed the South African Veterinary Council registration examination in November 2023 and registered as a CCS vet in December 2023. She will explain CCS. Thank you, Tom. Welcome.
Tamani, Abshin, and greetings to everyone. As already mentioned, my name is Ebenezer Mokhau Matsane. I am from a small village in Bushbuckridge, Saselane, and I am a Russian graduate. As already mentioned, my profile is really short, so coming after Dr. Nyalungu here, yeah, it's infakela pressure. But otherwise, I'd like to thank the government for the opportunity that was given to us as Russian graduate city, Siyabonga. Special thanks to the Mpumalanga Department of Education, to the, on my end, the Mpumalanga Department of Agriculture as well. And I will soon be working under the National Agricultural Government as a compulsory community service veterinarian. And I will be looking forward to using the expertise and knowledge that I gained from Russia to make the veterinary state or the animal health of this country better than it actually is. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Doctor. Bafundi labantu base Bushbuckridge. Ningabajwayeli. You know, there is something about poverty and rural. Hey, rural people really love education. And they go for the stars. Once they get an opportunity, they go for it. And I've seen that not only in Mpumalanga, but everywhere. People from a disadvantaged background, they really go for the stars. And these are the real role models of South Africa today. Young people with ambition, when they get opportunities, they grab them. And then they become the best of the best. So these are young people with ambition. If we are young and ambitions, there's something wrong. You must be ambitious when you are young. And thank you very much, Doctor, for sharing that experience with us. I'm now going to call Trevor Ngomane, National Youth Service Program, a plumber. One of the things that this government has done is to also implement National Youth Service Program. And he's going to tell us a story about his background, what he has achieved through the National Youth Service Program, and what the National Youth Service Program has done to change his life. Thank you very much. Trevor.
I like to say good afternoon to our president and his fellow. Yes. Yeah, usually, in the engineering field, you are not focused more in the language, but in fixing those. Yeah, by the way, my name is Trevor Ngomane from Mahushu, Ekim. Yes. I like this program. It has showed me most knowledge and skills more in plumbing. I can say now I know most of those things in plumbing, and I can do it on my own without any help from someone. And we would like for this program to be extended more, maybe to 5 years, so we can get more experience. And I would like to encourage the youth who didn't get those chances. Every post, don't miss it. Apply, guys. Apply, keep on applying. I started to apply from 2016 until it's my first time now to get this opportunity. And I'm looking on doing more, and some of those days I will be an artisan in plumbing, so I will come back here. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you very much. Give him a good round of applause. The National Youth Service Program is doing to change and intervene in upskilling the youth. Not all of us will end up in the university. And there are opportunities, TVET colleges, National Youth Service Program, CWP, EPWP, and all of that. But President will speak on all of those programs and what they do to change the lives of young people. Yes, we've got a journey and a long way to go, but let's not speak like nothing is happening. Izwe liyashuku kukhuluma abanikazi balo. So I was in Zimbabwe and they say, Izwe lakiwa gabanikazi balo. And we will build our own country, South Africa. Thank you very much, Trevor. And I'm now going to call Thulani Chirinza. He's also from the National Youth Service, Carpenter and Plumbing. Thulani.
Sanibonani. Ninjani? Bingelele Mr. President nema leaders. Igama ngimthulani ngakaChirinza ngiphuma phansi enkomazi eBlock A. Okay, ngifunzele civil engineering na N6 we civil. Ngeleka NYS last year May 15 May last year. And NYS inginike opportunity yokufunza iplumbing ngiyende necarpentry. So ngikhona nokuthi mangisekhaya ngitendele extra cash. Sometimes kube kuningi ngifile ngathi ngayekela ngala ka government. So siyabonga le opportunity ukuthi nalabanye ba apply bakhona kungena kulama program. Because nyalo umsebenzi vele kude, umsebenzi lo kumele siwende ngile tandla. Yabona. So mangifika lana ngiva kusesi bakhuluma la, bakhuluma ngama-varsity, baphume bafuze ngaphandle. I was like, maye mina ngizokhuluma ngithini ma. So bafika le courage ukuthi no man, everyone ufuna ukaka endlini la. Niyadzinga ama-toilet asetindlini, sho ukuthi nami ngiyadzingeka. Yabona. Yabona.
Amandla. Pata matamela pata. Kuba Cyril, Kuba. Yeah, comrades and friends, this is the real impact of changing lives of people. If you have not had this experience, you will think that the world has come to a standstill. And young people, he speaks, but he speaks on behalf of thousands of them. Not only here in Mpumalanga, but in the country. So you see, when we talk about these programs, what they do, uthi makakhuluma, uzwa abantu bekhuluma ngeprogram ezinkulu. Lana uyacabanga ukuthi makafika la mina ngizobekani uNkulunkulu. And lento ayistudishayo important kabi. Very important. So like I said, not all of us end up in universities, but government intervenes through these programs to change our lives. So the president will speak about that and in responding and educating us more about these programs, what government is doing and what we are going to do going into the future. Comrades, let me now introduce to you Ntsako Mahlaule from Bushbuckridge. Ntsako studied analytical chemistry in the University of Nelson Mandela. She is the author of the book, The Journey of Becoming. She is the award winner for Best Innovative Entrepreneur. She is currently Miss Bachelorette South Africa finalist. She's an inspirational speaker. She's the CEO and founder of Charged Up. She's a beneficiary of Youth Fund from the Premier's office in Mpumalanga. Ntsako. Yabulabula Sesi. Thank you very much.
Greetings. I'd like to take this time honor the program director, the honorable president, our premier, and all the great leaders that we have in the building, and not forgetting my favorite people, the young people. I am Takoma Shaule, like they've said, from a very small village in Bushbuck Ridge called Agincourt, I am a firm believer that regardless of where you come from, regardless of a small background that you come from, you can still become the best version of yourself. I have followed my passion of clothing and started my company that's called Charged Up, the t-shirt I'm wearing here, in 2019. So when I started this company, it was only for clothing, t-shirts and caps. And then when I grew in this company, I realized that it needs printing services. I'm always outsourcing. But I did not have money for machines for printing. That's when I made my research and found out about the NYDA. I applied with them, and successfully I was granted 50,000 rands. That helped me to buy machines, printing machines, and photography equipment as I was doing events. And then that enabled me to open my first shop in Agincourt, where I come from, where I was able to employ one person. At that time, my services now grew from clothing to photography and printing. And then I realized that I was not growing. I needed a challenge because I felt like I'm a young person, I'm creative, I'm innovative. I need something more. That's when I decided to move to the city of Mbombela. I did not know anyone or have a place to stay, but I was driven by my dreams. I knew that the world needed to know my gift and experience what I have to offer. When I get to the city, I went office to office asking for opportunities. I remember going to CEDA. CEDA, they helped me with material that were for marketing, which includes gazebos, banners, you can name it. But I did not have a place to put my gazebo. That's when I went to the local municipality of Mbombela. I told them that at the moment, I do not have a place to sell my merchandise, and I cannot afford rent at the mall. Can you give me a space, even in the streets? Because I believe that you need to start somewhere for you to be big. I was not ashamed to start at the bottom because I knew that sky is not even the limit. And then the local municipality gave me a space at Promenade where now every day I was walking. I was carrying my bags every day, walking. They were heavy, guys, I don't want to lie, but I believed in the power of my dreams. I walked every day to the streets selling, but at the back of my head, I saw Charged Up at the mall. At the back of my head, I was working hard that one day, all the provinces in South Africa, they're going to have Charged Up. And then while I was still working at the streets, I made a research again. I found out about the Office of the Premier's Fund. I applied with them, and successfully they granted me the fund. The fund enabled me to get the shop at the mall, where I am currently working now. The fund, the youth fund from the Premier's office, enabled me to get bigger machines from the ones I was using before. The machine that the NYDA bought for me was very small and it could only do small job. But the machines that I got from the Office of the Premier enables me now to do larger things like banners, signages, embroidery, you can name it. The Office of the Premier's Fund enabled me to get me the best photography services. At the moment, I'm having my own photography studio where I'm shooting indoors and outdoors. After so many years of walking to office, taxis by taxis, carrying my products in the bags, the Office of the Premier's Fund, it it enabled me to get a vehicle, a whole car that helps me to get to meetings, to deliver for my clients, and it also helps me to go around and do brandings for my client. It was never a walk in the park. It was very lonely. The journey, it was very hard. The goals that I'm having for Charged Up this year is to open more shops in the province and across the country. I'm excited to announce that today, from the company that I started alone, I have 7 employees. I have currently started my Charged Up sneaker collection that the launching date will be announced early this year. And I plan to employ more people this year. The challenges that I'm having is not maybe sometimes getting enough jobs, because the machines that I'm having at the moment, they are very huge and they need big jobs. So I would really, really appreciate if I can get a lot of jobs that it can keep us going. I'd like to thank the government offices from NYDA, CEDA, economic development, and the local municipality that believed in my vision. I would like to thank the president for allowing such initiatives to assist young people. I'd like to thank the Office of the Premier's initiative that saw it fit that my company be qualified and to get us where we are today. To the young people that are here today, please remember that your dreams are valid and it is in your hands to make them come true. As I sit down, remember that do not settle what you want exists exactly how you want it. And moreover, embrace the small beginnings while working your way up to the top. Thank you.
Give her a good round of applause. But she's telling us a story about the experience of many young people in our country across the length and breadth of South Africa. No one wants to live on social grants. People want opportunities, and they will stand up and do things for themselves. And this is the story of South Africa today and the progress we are making. And I think there are thousands and thousands of young people across the country and here in Mpumalanga among yourselves who could stand up and tell their own stories. But we want to thank all those who came forward and to tell their own stories, and the president will respond to that. I want to also introduce Bukamuso Machika. We are graced by presence of Miss Mpumalanga, Bukamuso Machika. Mpumalanga has got something with beauty because we are also graced. She had to leave Ntando Yenkosi Kunene. She was former Miss South Africa from Mpumalanga. So, ye bahle amantombazana sempumalanga. Sengimoshwa nje into ukuthi sengiganile. I mean, I'm not free. Ningijonge nje. Ningiyeke. Colin, kubi mfana kithi. Mpumalanga itsamaya kopili ntati. Thank you very much with your presence. I'm going now to call the president of the Youth League to make his remarks and then hand over to the president to speak to us. Amanda.
Thank you very much, the Secretary General of the ANC, the former president of the ANC Youth League, Comrade Cyril Ramaphosa, the leadership of the province, the Secretary General of the ANC Youth League, the chair of the province, Comrade Mandla, the Premier of Mpumalanga, Comrade Refilwe, and the youth. Uzoyithola kanjani? Uhlele khoneni? Uzoyithola kanjani? Uhlele khoneni? President, it is clear that through the presentation of different young people, that the past 8 years of an ANC-led government was not wasted years, as per the narrative driven by those who are influenced to reverse the gains that the ANC has delivered. There are young people here before 1994. They will never be able to even set foot in Russia. Today, they are saying that they are engineers from Russia through the intervention of the ANC-led government. The young people here who have never thought in their lives they will leave their own villages because we pushed back to those villages. Today, they own business offices in town, in malls, where in the past was set aside for few minorities. There are young people here who have never dreamed that there will be doctors because of their family backgrounds. Today here, they are showcasing that they are medical doctors through the intervention of the ANC-led government. There are young people here who, when they left high school, because of most of them, maybe they did not perform as per societal expectations. The ANC also created opportunities for them to participate. We're creating artisans, we're creating engineers, we're creating doctors, we're creating entrepreneurs, we're creating everyone who wants to fully participate in the economic activities of the country. Now, those young people came here, all of them, President, and said they thank the intervention of the ANC-led government. But on top of everything that they've raised, there is one common thing that they raise, all of them, is the issue of unemployment. They are saying that the interventions have been made. We thank you. But the problem about these interventions is that we must urgently move to create employment for the youth of South Africa. Because if we don't create employment for the youth of South Africa, we run a risk of investing in water. You know, no matter how much water you put in the ocean, but if you put water in the ocean, you'll never see the results of the water because there's too much water in the ocean. Now, the urgent issue that we need to intervene on is the issue of unemployment. And I think, President, through our engagements in all platforms that we meet in, we agree that the unemployment issue must be resolved, and it shall be resolved. And the Youth League, it has given you solutions. The young people here have given you solutions that let's use our raw material below our soil to resolve our own problems. It can be, President, I repeat, that over 70% of raw materials can leave this country to go and create employment in countries where there's no raw materials. When in countries where there's raw materials, there's unemployment. Now we must be selfish and put South Africa first. Aba enjoy 30% of raw materials. The 70% must remain here. Factories must be open. Secondary, tertiary industries must be active. The youth of this country must run factories, businesses in their own country, utilizing the raw materials given to them by God. Because God chose Africa as a country of option. Now, those that have no raw materials, if they want employment, they must come to Africa. We would have created jobs for everyone to a point whereby we'll be importing jobs from other countries. Because with our raw materials alone, we can create jobs for everyone. We can create business opportunities for everyone. Now, it can't be that we're the ones who are given donations by countries that have nothing. It must be us who give them donations, utilizing everything that we have. Africans can no longer be a charity case of Europeans anymore. People that have nothing use our own raw materials to build their own economies. Then they later say Africa is poor and they give us food when they use our own raw materials to build their own countries. Now we're saying that enough is enough. This youth here, they are skilled, they'll go to school. The ANC-led government has opened opportunities for them. They now want to participate in the economic activities of their own country. And they acknowledge the work that have been done. Let's just unlock the economy and restructure it to benefit the majority of South Africans. Because there's no economy that can be progressive if it does not benefit the majority. It can't be correct that minorities in the country carry the majority. It can't be. The majority must carry the minority. Now we must restructure it in a way that the majority of the people in the country no longer complain about small things like unemployment in a country like South Africa. We know that through your pronouncements, after they were saying there's high level of unemployment, there were interventions that were made and certain jobs were brought back into the economy. And we appreciate that. And we're saying that more can be done. The progress we see of the certain jobs that have been lost in the economy have been brought back. But we're saying that it must be done at a high scale. As much as we acknowledge that there's movement, but we're saying that let's fast track it, that movement, so that the youth of the country fully participate. President, we have enough engineers. We can't hear that civil engineers are unemployed when we have ESCOM collapsing due to some of the issues that there's a lot of people who are retiring. We're told that a lot of old engineers are leaving ESCOM, they're retiring. But we are told also that there are civil engineers who are unemployed. Something is not right, President. Please zoom into that ESCOM. We have solution. We'll give you young engineers here. They'll resolve the issue of the energy crisis. Because there can't be an energy crisis in South Africa when you've got engineers. We've sent them as far as Russia. As far as Russia, countries that are known to have a clear energy security. They will have solutions, these young people. We'll come with them to you, President, to resolve all these problems. Because as they've said, as I quote what the SG of the ANC have said, only South Africans can resolve South African problems. We can't delegate them to anyone else. Ourselves here, we can resolve it. It can't be that there are doctors who are unemployed when we are told that there are shortages of doctors in clinics. Now, those are areas that I know, President, after we've given you a new mandate, and the January 8th statement, those are some of the things you will release and explain and send command to everyone that if they don't want to work, you have enough army of young people who are ready to be DGs, who are ready to be chief directors, who are ready to be engineers. Now, you are not desperate for people who don't want to work. Don't be scared to fire those who are sleeping on duty. There's enough manpower here to resolve all of those problems. Now, what we know very well, President, under your capable hands, led by an ANC-led government, we know all of these problems will resolve. And President, we can tell you now, after we resolve all of these problems, these Mickey Mouse organizations led by criminals will not have voters because people will know it's only the ANC that resolve their own problems. Because everyone who's a criminal kicked out of the ANC, when they are brought to their wives and children and their families, the first thing they think about is to form a political party and go to parliament and reverse the gains of freedom. Now, our people will no longer be used by opportunists. Our people will know that the ANC will resolve their problem because they are used by opportunists to take advantage of the high level of inequalities in this country, of a high level of unemployment in this country. Everyone today, even those that hate people of South Africa, they say they have a solution to resolve problems in South Africa. When we all know that it's only the ANC. And when the ANC implements all its resolutions, no one, no Mickey Mouse, no criminal will stand up in public and say, I'm a cleaner criminal now because the ANC has kicked me out. You can't be kicked out a criminal in the ANC, but tomorrow you form a party and so you are clean. When people in South Africa told us that they don't vote for the ANC because it's associated with corruption. When we act on corruption, people form political parties, they say now they are clean. From when were they clean? When they were in the ANC, they were dirty. When they're outside, they are clean. Now we're saying that our people must not lose patience with the ANC. The ANC will resolve all the socio-economic problems. And these problems don't fall into traps of voting for opportunists because you are angry. Anger will make you make a lot of mistakes. Baba Jolang ba tseba o ra o kwatile o kgona ra o sa monyaka mosadi wa hao o hopole boshego re bana, where's my woman? because you took your decision out of anger. Now, those are issues that we need to resolve, and we believe that, President, the solutions are in the ANC, and as the youth of the country will be there to support and make sure we become the voice of the voiceless. We resolve and become the messengers of those who have no access to you, and brief you on the new trends and the new problems that the youth of the country are faced with. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Colin Malachi. You speak like the youth. Once you start speaking like President Ramaphosa, we must know we elected the wrong president for the youth of our country. So thank you very much for your remarks. And thank you to the youth here today. You are many. There are women, young farmers here. Can you please stand up? Who are with us as well here. I wanted them to talk about their experience, President, but we don't have time. Oh, you want one to speak? Ngubano undwebileyo okwazi uthetha izasis. Uthi qaba msinya nje uxelela upresident nenzani kule farming.
Thank you so much, SG. Africans, futures billionaires and millionaires will make their money from agriculture, says Nigerian's Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, Akinwa Adesina. Mr. Orotimi once said, a nation without productive youth is a nation without hope, and a nation without hope is a nation without future. He further said, you can't go wrong by investing in the youth. Youth are the game changers and the creative thinkers. Ladies and gentlemen, greeting Mr. President and your office. My name is Lebohang Juju, a 35-year-old farmer. Okay, so it's the time that he gave me. Thank you. Thank you so much for the time. So my name is Lebohang Juju. I am a poultry farmer who's very passionate, and I am also a retired electrical engineer. I've got farmers here that I am representing, and I would like them to come up to the stage because we've been working for this session for the past week. So I'd like all the value chain, all the top 10 farmers to come upstage so you can see them. Thank you, guys. Please give them a hand, big applause. So we were going to be very angry, SG, if you didn't call us, because we're looking forward to this day. Just as a brief description, this is farmers that have been supported by the province. We are in different sectors. We've got eggs. 2 of them are doing eggs layers. And then we've got our agro processor. And then we've got me, who's a poultry producer. And we've got Ufinko is doing mushrooms. And he's doing livestock. And then Tembi who's doing grains. Then we've got... and Pigro as well. So you've got your whole plate here, Mr. President. And we have shown that these people have created a lot of jobs. I've heard, not to say anything wrong to the previous speakers, but here you'll have one farmer who's appointed more than 10 people. So what we are saying, Mr. President, and your office, please prioritize young people. Please prioritize youth, because we are able and we are showing that we are capable of running sustainable businesses. We've been supported by the provincial government and through the Office of the Premier, the HOD, and all the Department of Agriculture. They are here. And I'm glad they are here to support us, to tell you and to show that we can do it. So what we are asking for is that we are not lazy. We don't want donations. We just want you to prioritize us, support us, commercialize us. We can do it, as black as we are. So I'm not sure if there's anyone who wants to say something. Thank
you. Good day. Baba Figile says Figile, my farmers. We're willing to work, Mr. President. We're not sleeping 24 hours. We wish to get more opportunities. Honestly speaking, as we are farmers, we're struggling firstly to occupy the land. It's been like since from 2017. Since 2017, I was applying for a land. Even today, I didn't manage to occupy the land. I'm owning about 183 cattle as we speak, and I started with my salary. Where I'm based in Leidenberg. We are struggling with the market as well. The reason why I started this, I was buying the cattle and selling at the auction. The auction is only Wednesday. If the farmers pass this Wednesday without selling and having a breakdown during the weekend or Thursday, there's no any opportunity to sell their livestock. So I started by little small feed lot, buying from the local farmers, and then feathering the cattle and sell it. But what I've noticed as we speak now, even the farmers, they are still struggling with the market where I'm based. About 90 to 100 kilometers radius is very tough. We wish to our government to assist us as quick as possible, because sometimes we do applications on CASPAS and different funders. They don't come back to us, say, you failed because of this. You failed because of this. They just keep quiet, not giving us the full feedback. What's the problem? They don't assist us. We're keeping on applying, trying all our best. We work in 24 hours. We're willing to make our country to be one of the best countries. We're willing to stand. We're willing to feed the nation. We need food as we speak, as all of us here. We need to work hand in hand. Please, let's prioritize farmers. Let's help each other. We're willing to bring more food from local farmers, local supermarket. All supermarket, 99% of everything supermarket, we need farmers. From Zimba to biscuit to cheese. So we like to appreciate if we can get that such opportunities.
Good day, President. Good day, Premier. Good day, Babundlovu. Datewa SACP and the Youth League driver. President, I want to speak business, agribusiness to you. The state is the biggest buyer of grain-based agricultural products. But then in our country, through the NSNP and the GNP, we find that procurement is done from grain that is bought from other countries or other companies that are not part of the communities that those schools are in. I want to speak about what our province has done towards that. We are the only province in this country that has implemented that thing of the grain value chain, whereby farmers produce what their kids eat, and we eat what the farmers are producing. As we speak, I'm a miller, I'm an agro-processor producing feed and food. I'm feeding about 7,000 school children as we speak. These are children that eat what was produced in our schools. We had 3 HODs from 3 provinces who came to our province to see how is this being done. As we speak, at the port of Durban, we have 3 ships that are containing over 700,000 maize from the United States, coming here to take our maize. We are saying to you, President, we are lobbying you. Let the DDM, the District Development Model, be implemented, like it has already been done in Mpumalanga under HOD Chunda and Premier Philomotsweni. To say every community must eat from its own farmers, like it has already been done. As we speak, I have over 1 million kilograms of sorghum in my silos, which I am inviting you, President, to come and meet our farmers at. To come, that sorghum, it has been there for the past 18 months. But then when you look, all the patients in our hospitals and the schools, they are eating grain-based processed products every day. But then where is that coming from? If we can implement that today, I am in front of everyone unlocking over 2,000 jobs in the next 3 weeks. We are talking about local farmers, President, farmers that our provincial government is popping out money to sell, to buy fertilizers, to buy diesel and everything. But then after they harvest, no one gives them a market. This morning, I just woke up to a meeting with one of the NSNP and GNP suppliers to talk about e-pricing. Our contractors who are contracted by the government to supply GNP and SNP, they are not making money. Because when they are contracted, they are given a contract and they have to go to macro and all other mills to buy at high exorbitant prices, prices that are not the same when it comes to our black brothers. I sat into that meeting and then we discussed prices, but then we realized that if the grain that is being fed to our communities came from our farmers, they would be making a lot of money. We are saying, let us sample what is happening in Mpumalanga. Let us sample what we are doing. And the whole country will be a green place. Thank you, President.
My name is Lebogang Mashego, and I want to say. Okay. I want to say, President, iyasebenza African National Congress, a province in Mpumalanga. I started a business 2019 at 350. Today, I am under construction in the Department of Agriculture, where we are building a 30,000 capacity farm, and we are going to create umsebenzi for 25 young people at Mbisile Hani municipality, thanks to the office laga Premier Refilm 20.
Thank you, thank you. It's very important that I speak. Thank you, Secretary General. Just a quick one on the issue of land reform. My name is Thembi Kula, and I speak on behalf of all the primary producers. These are the farmers that produce the maize, the sorghum, the beans, and all the food that you eat as staple foods. We would like to request the President to speed up the issue of land reform, because we are willing and able to produce the grains that are needed for our household. However, we lack the land that we need to produce on. I produce maize on 145 hectares, but I need 1,000 hectares to satisfy my market. Mr. President, I urge you, sir, to speed up the issue of land reform. I'm also a Bonsmara and a beef master farmer. As I speak, my cows are not on my farm because we don't have enough land. They are in Limpopo. So I'm urging the President for land. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We have now arrived at the point where the President will respond, but give them a good round of applause. Who would have thought of young people and young women in farming? This is real jobs, comrades. This is real jobs. These are not handouts. Young people want to be supported, get the opportunities going. So I'm not a farmer, but from today I'm inspired. President. I'm going straight into farming. They speak passionate about it. And others think going to farming is not fashionable. So they want nice things, and so on. So not all of us will do one and the same thing. So our government has intervened. And these are the real stories that are not anyone is talking about in the country. All what is said is that nothing is happening around us. I can tell you right now, you go everywhere, this is just the tip of an iceberg. Opportunities. When I was at the Department of Transport, I called young people, 12,000 of them, studying difficult skills in the transportation department and supported by government. So it was amazing to see people like those and doing things for themselves and grabbing the opportunities. But thank you very much. I'm now giving the President to respond to you and talk to you. Matamela Ramaphosa, the President of the African National Congress. Amandla! Thank you very much, Mongameli.
Let's be seated, please. Amandla. No, that is a very weak Amandla. 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 That's better. Now, let me start off by thanking the province, our province here in Mpumalanga. Thank the chairperson of our ANC province, and also thank the premier of our province. Premier, we thank you. Most of these testimonials, and Comrade Mandla, who is also an MEC in government, are really about the work that you are doing here in Mpumalanga. I am very proud of the work you are doing to empower young people. Manje, one of the things, and thank you very much, SG, and President of the ANC Youth League, for arranging this program. This, to me, is an uplifting program, uplifting moment. The testimonials that we have heard are really outstanding testimonials about the work that the ANC government is doing, particularly in addressing the challenges that young people in our country are facing. I think here in Mpumalanga, you are making great strides. You're doing things that are also going to be a great example for us at national government level in the way that you are making interventions to support young people. I am particularly impressed with the bursaries that you have been offering young people to get them to go and learn in other countries. This used to happen in a big way in our own country, and it used to happen on a voluntary basis. It used to happen led by religious organizations. For instance, one of the initiatives that led to the formation of the ANC was that many of the leaders that finally got together on the 8th of January 1912 to form the ANC, a number of them had been educated outside of the country. They had been sent outside the countries, but others had done so with their own initiative, like Pixley Kaisa Kaseme, who ended up in Columbia University in the United States, and then finally Oxford. And he came back armed with enormous knowledge. He was hugely inspired when he was out there in those countries, and came back, talked to a whole lot of others like Sol Plaatje, Ubaba Mangena, many others, John Langalibale Dube, and all of them. Then all of them then collaborated with our traditional leaders, our chiefs, collaborated with many other educated people in our country, religious leaders, and they formed the ANC. Now, the seed had been planted in a number of them by their overseas studies. Now, I can see that what the Mpumalanga government has done is to farm out our young people, to send them to other countries. They come back armed with knowledge of how things are done in other countries. That, mixed with the local education system here, just enriches what needs to be done. A country like China, for instance, is one country that is leading in the whole world. Wherever you go in the world, you will always find Chinese students. They farm them out, and then they come back to the country, and they contribute to the growth of the country. So I applaud you. Our founding president, Nelson Mandela, reached an agreement with Fidel Castro the then president of Cuba, to send young people who could not be admitted because they came from poor backgrounds and because our universities, our medical schools could not admit so many young people. He struck an agreement with Fidel Castro to enable us to send a number of young people to Cuba to go and get medical training. And a number of them have come back. They are now fully fledged doctors. They are working within our ranks, and it is adding to the medical cohort in our country. And I want to applaud Mpumalanga for participating in that Cuban initiative, as well as having started your own, where you have sent young people out. Now, of course, the one issue that you raise is that those young people come back and they don't have jobs. That, for me, is very painful. That is very concerning. It is concerning because we have a number of you who we have educated who are unemployed. And if I could ask many of you to raise your hands who are qualified and unemployed, I am sure it will be a sea of hands that would go up. But please do raise your hands. Let me see. Many of you, yes, have qualified and you are unemployed. Thank you. Put them down. Now, this is an issue, this is a challenge. This is a challenge that we are going to address. We are going to address this challenge that where we have educated our young people and where they've become qualified and where they've become graduates, we should come up with an intervention and a program that will say no graduate must go unemployed. That is what we want to work on. It's an intervention that we are looking at, and obviously it is very dependent, very, very dependent on our fiscal position. And it is also dependent on the types of collaborations that we could have with our other partners, the private sector and so forth. The private sector in our country employs 80% of the people, say, in our country. Or better still, 80% of our economy is in the hands of the private sector. So therefore, we are duty-bound to work with them. We are duty-bound to crowd them in. We are duty-bound to drag them along with us. And we are duty-bound even to craft initiatives and laws that will make them want to create positions, particularly positions for our qualified young people. I mean, some of you are plumbers, and I heard one of your plumbers saying, "Utulani, uyu Utulani waiti, uyazi ukuthi abantu bafuna ukukakela endlini." He used that term, meaning that he knows that there's a demand for plumbers. So therefore, we need to create opportunities and jobs for people like Tulani, but more importantly, we want people like Tulani to become artisans, to go and get trade tested, to go and get their full qualifications so that they are able to be marketable. I don't want Tulani to end where he is, where he knows about plumbing, but he's not an artisan. I want a Tulani to become the artisan so that he can start his own business, so that he can stand on his own 2 feet and provide that service professionally so that he can be properly employed. Now, we've got doctors here who are trained but who are unemployed. We've got a number of civil engineers who've been trained but who are unemployed. This to us is a big challenge as government, and we want to ensure that we create opportunities for you as highly qualified people to come to get positions and to start your own businesses. Now, it does not mean that we ignore those who are not qualified, because our opportunities were never equal or the same. We will also focus on those who are not qualified, who do not have skills. And that is why, as a government, we have focused on youth unemployment. We have created many programs, and I'll just mention a few. A few years ago, when I was deputy president, we started the Youth Employment Service, which is the YES program. And this YES program brought in employers. We mobilized employers and said to employers, employ young people, bring them into the world of work. And we also gave them some incentives and said, if you employ them and bring them into the world of work, we will be able to give you certain incentives. And indeed, a number of young people were then brought into the world of work. Many companies like banks, manufacturing companies, distribution companies, and so on, started opening their doors to bring young people in. And then we started another one, which is the Employment Tax Initiative Program, where we said to companies, we will give you a tax incentive, employ young people, and your taxation will also be brought down. And then we set up the NYDA, the National Youth Development Agency. The NYDA has been doing fantastic work throughout the country. They have been opening up many opportunities for young people to get into business, training them, opening up their own businesses, and that has been going extremely well. Before SONA, we are going to have another massive opportunity where we will have some 5,000 to 10,000 young people in the Western Cape. And the National Youth Development Agency will come and showcase the work that they have been doing. When COVID came, we decided that we needed to defend our people, both working people as well as unemployed people, as well as young people, so that we can all navigate our way through COVID. COVID destroyed some 2 million jobs in our economy. And when COVID came, you know, we closed everything and the economy just tanked. It just went down. What did we do? The government embarked on the biggest stimulus program or intervention this country has ever seen. It amounted to 11% or so of our GDP. We said to companies, as far as possible, you don't need to retrench workers. The unemployment insurance will be there to support your workers. The UIF paid out 70 billion rand. And we said to companies that they can come through to government, and where we can, we will give them assistance. And that also happened. A number of companies did get some form of assistance in their operations, hotels, tourism industries, and all that. And we also said we are going to set up the Presidential Employment Youth Initiative. stimulus initiative, PESI they call it, Special Employment Stimulus Initiative, where we have to date created 1.2 million opportunities. This is the biggest employment stimulus that we have ever created in a short space of time. And a number of young people participated in it. They went into our schools and they became assistant teachers and assistant teachers in our schools. We've got 25,000 schools in our country, and that's where we were able to send them. In agriculture, we also send a number of young people, and this became the biggest program that we have created in the history of our country. And it does deserve you to acknowledge it with a good round of applause, because it affected many of your lives. And that program is going to continue. We have said to the Minister of Finance, this is a highly impactful program, because what it does, it brings in young people into the world of work. And young people then are exposed to the world of work. They know how the world of work works. And yes, they have this opportunity for quite a much longer period than the EPWP. They above the minimum wage as well. So they get a salary and they are able to support their lives during that period. One of the other initiatives we embarked upon, working together with other organizations like Harambee, was to set up a platform, a job-seeking or employment platform called mobi.co.za, where we ask young people to place their CVs, on this very interactive website. And now today we've got 4.5 million young people of South Africa who are participating in that Mobi site. They are showcasing what they can do. They are showing potential employers what they do or can do. And let me tell you something. We are told that many employers now go to that platform to employ young people. They get jobs because they showcase on that website. And we are saying more and more young people visit that website, put your CV on that website, and you will be able to get approaches from companies on an ongoing basis, because it has become a very effective job creator. And I say so advisedly because the National Youth Development Agency is our partner as government, and the NYDA champions the cause of young people. We gave money, a couple of billions of rands, to the NYDA and said, as young people, run your own programs. Do things the way you believe they should be done. And of course, it's not enough money, but we have given the NYDA the capacity, the capability to do things for young people, and they are doing them as it is now. The other one that has been of assistance to young people is the NEF, the National Empowerment Fund. It has funded young people who've wanted to start their own businesses. What I can tell you is that our government is not only pro-poor, it is also pro-young people, it is also pro-women. We are irrevocably committed to empowering young people in our country, because we know what problem we are dealing with. We are dealing with a huge problem of youth unemployment. And we want to address that. And let me say, this is a global problem. Many countries around the world have got a youth problem, a youth unemployment problem. Now, we've come up with many initiatives. And today, I move away from here hugely inspired by what you were articulating here, including what the president of the ANC Youth League was saying about changing some of our economics, changing some of our industrial policies, and saying, as he says so very articulately, we have a country that is well endowed with minerals. And what we have tended to do, and this is how, if you study the economy of our country, which I want you to do, you will find that the economy of our country, once colonialism came, the colonialists came and grabbed the mineral resources of our country. Our forebears fought. They were defeated. And they started fighting back when the ANC was formed. But in the time when they were defeated, the colonialists just grabbed the mineral resources of our country, started setting up an economy that is based on mineral extraction. In other words, they came from Europe, they came from America with money, with machinery. They started digging up holes in our country, extracting diamonds, extracting gold, later platinum, chrome, copper, you name it. And of course, they found our own forebears already mining these minerals. Our forebears were already mining iron ore, copper, chrome. They were already producing, not at an industrial scale, but when the wars of independence and dispossession came, we were robbed of all these minerals. And then the colonizers started setting up a minerals extraction economy, which led to our economy now being based largely on mining, exporting. Mining gold, we were the biggest gold producer in the world. And our economy was really built on minerals, coal, iron ore, diamonds, and gold. So all these were being exported. And that impoverished us because these were rightfully our minerals as the people of South Africa. So the Youth League, the young people are now saying, we must stop this. We must stop exporting our rocks, our minerals, and all that we produce. We must stop doing so. We must now start beneficiating our minerals here and beneficiate them and create products that we will go and sell to other countries. Instead of selling them our minerals, they make products and then they sell them back to us at a higher price. And correctly so, the young people of our country are saying, that is unacceptable, that must stop. And I agree with you. I couldn't agree more. So this, in the end, when we move on with this process, which we are going to move on with, that is when we will start changing the nature of our economy. That is when our economy will start being a really good, productive, and industrial economy. We are the most industrialized country on the African continent. When it comes to industrialization, we are the most industrialized. But we are still far behind many other countries that, for instance, became free much later, many other countries in Southeast Asia and even in Latin America, largely because of colonialism and apartheid. So the African National Congress is determined to undo all these shackles of the past. We are determined to shake off the chains of the past and reposition our economy and make our economy fit to be able to create jobs for you, so that you, as you become trained, as you become the engineers, because it's no use being an engineer today and you can't find a job. We want you to be an engineer that will find a job, realize our economy. Now, that is precisely what we are working on. That's precisely what we are going to do. And you inspire me. Today, I find great inspiration because all of you are a group of young people, a bunch of young people to the development of our country. I'm sure that is correct. Is that not so? Ngati, you are not determined. Are you determined to contribute to the development of South Africa? Thank you. Now, this is where government then will come in and support you. And this is where we've been focusing on your education. And today, as many of you testified here, the government is doing a lot of things to support the education of all of you. Many of you, by 1994, were either very young or had not yet been born. Since 1994, in the 30 years, this government has focused on ensuring that we build a better life for our people. And most of it has been in focusing on young people. Our budget as a country, most of our budget goes to education. Because when father of our democracy became president, he said the biggest sin that was committed by the apartheid rulers of this country was in denying us a decent education. And he said we must focus on education. Education, therefore, became the biggest budget sector in our overall budget. And so we've continued to pour money into education. And it was President Nelson Mandela who said, I want our children to go back to school. Before 1994, many of the young people in our country didn't go to school. We have made education compulsory. And we have said to parents, you must take your child to school. Today, we've got 12 million children who are in basic education. We've got 7 million children who should be in early child development, in the creche system, early child development. We are now developing a very robust early child development system so that we can start the real meaningful education at an early stage, because educated people are the ones who are able to play a much more meaningful role in the economy of the country. They are able to add to the growth of the economy in a much bigger way. And that's precisely what we're focused on doing. Many of our schools are fees-free schools. Many of our to take their children to school. But then we topped it up by saying we must now support those young children, those young people who want to go to college, who want to go to university. Today, we've got well over 1 million young people who get bursaries from this government. We spend 48 billion rand a year supporting young people with bursaries. This never happened under apartheid. Under apartheid, only few people got bursaries. Today, more than 1 million. In fact, it's close on to 1.2 million. Now, these are the great achievements of this government. These are the great efforts that this government has put in place, on top of all the other initiatives that I've been talking about. Therefore, the focus has been on empowering young people, of making sure that they get the necessary skills. And of course, each time I talk to parents, parents say, President, siyabonga, ukuthi abantwana bethu bayafunda and bafundile. Eyona into esele. The one thing that remains is that they must get jobs. That is what your parents say. And I say I agree with that. I agree with that, and that is why we are coming up with more and more initiatives. When we go to SONA next month, we are also going to be focusing on you as young people and coming up with initiatives and thoughts. And so that is why today being here with you, for me, is an inspiration, because you say, support us. Even when we are in our businesses, starting our farming businesses, we would like the government to support us. And correctly so. We are not going to shirk our responsibility from supporting you. We want to support you, and we will come with various measures to give you as much support as we can. Because the future belongs to you. And we have been seeking to create the environment. Even Colin Malachi says, yes, a lot has been done. But he also adds, but President, we want the government to do more. And this is what then inspires us. Because there are those who say nothing has been done for young people. There is no truth in that. The government does something for young people from the time you are born. From the time a child is born, the government intervenes with a child grant. And as the child goes into basic education schools, the government is there to support. Support with what? With saying you will not pay school fees. You will get a meal at school. And there will be learner transport. In other places, it's not there in full, but we want it to be there. And we say we will not leave you there. We will go and support you when you go to college or university. We will also support you when you have to get your plumbing skill, when you get your boiler making skill. We will be there and give you maximum support. I promise you, I know of no government, even on our continent, that focuses as much on youth development as the South African government does. Ayikho engiyaziyo. This is this government of South Africa only that I know. And I go around quite a lot, and I listen as people talk. And I often see that we are doing the very best that we can. Now you have all these others who come forward. We will do this for the young people. Where is the evidence? Dololo. There is no evidence of what they can do. Only the African National Congress has proven that it has a track record in supporting young people. Only this ANC-led government, because day in and day out. And of course, sometimes we are held back. We are held back by budgetary constraints. Sometimes we make our own mistakes. Sometimes there are other constraints, but continuously we are going forward. Siya phambili all the time, and asizawuhlehlela emuva. We are never going to go backwards. Forward forever. That's exactly what we are going to be doing in empowering young people. So I say to all of you as young people, you've got a government that is determined to support you, But then I say, as I end, Bati ngamalimi ethu, Bati inkomo kuvuswa, your patriotism to this country, to show that you are patriotic. You are a true South African who has been given birth by this country that has shown its love so much to you that it has opened up so many opportunities. And a country and a government that says, we will continue opening up opportunities. And bayathanda noma abathandi, they know ukuthi this government is okay, I'm ending now, but I do want to end on another important point. As I said, the cow that needs help must show that it has its own initiative to rise up. Kutsuswa khomo eitsusa. Kuvuswa inkomo ezivusayo ngokwayo. So we want to see that level of initiative. The determination that I listened to from these young people is fantastic. To me, it's an inspiration because they want to win, they are hungry for success, and that is exactly what we want to see with our young people. Now, in order for you to embrace the future, there are a number of things that you must do. You must have determination, you must have ambition, you must have commitment, you must be willing to sacrifice certain things. You must be disciplined yourself. You must tell yourself that I am going to be disciplined, I am going to focus on the future that I want. And to do so, one of the things you must do is to improve yourself on an ongoing basis, to improve your own educational outcomes. And you must embark on a lifelong learning life journey, learning something on a continuous basis. You must never say, oh, yes, I've got my diploma, I'm now a plumber, but don't move on to become an artisan. You must never say, I passed my grade 12 and saying I'm qualified now. You must keep on moving forward. The last thing I want to mention is that I want you to embrace the culture of reading. You must read. Some of the most successful countries in the world are countries where the population loves books, where people love to read all the time. We don't have time now. Whenever I go to either universities or places of learning, I always conduct a test. And I always ask people whether they read or not. And I always say, has any one of you read 50 books? And nobody raises their hand. And then I say 40 books, and young people especially. Nobody raises their hand. 30 books, nobody. And it finally comes down to 5. Then I'll see a few hands going up. The problem that we need to address is that we must develop the culture of reading. of self-improvement, of making ourselves better, of wanting to succeed all the time. Yes, government will be there to support you, but you yourself, you must demonstrate hore o tla e tsosa. Now, I may be very personal, and I'm going to be personal. The president of the ANC Youth League lost his parents when he was a young boy. And he lived alone in a shack. But you know what he did? He did not wallow. He did not wallow in self-pity and said, I've lost my parents, both of them. I live alone. I must now go to the streets. He focused on his books and his education. And that's one of the things I'm really proud about this president of the ANC Youth League. I'm very proud because he picked himself up. He said to himself, my future is about getting educated. My future is about grasping education, alone, living alone as even, how old were you, 14? How much? He was 16 years old. He's a public figure now, and his life story can be told. He was 16 years old, lived alone, lost both his parents, but he picked himself up. Today, here he is. He's got degrees. He's qualified, and that is the type of drive and passion and commitment that we want to see in all of you. If you want to be leaders of tomorrow, please go and get qualified in something. Go and get an education. Read books. Broaden your knowledge. Become wiser by traveling the world through reading of books. The great leaders of our country, Nelson Mandela, Oliver Tambo, John Langalelbalele, Dube, Pixley Kaisa Kaseme, Sol Plaatje, you name them. All of them were great readers. They used to devour books. Now I want to challenge you all. Go pick up a book. Go pick up a book. I have a friend who reads 50 books a year. And I met another one who reads 70 books a year. That's more than one book a week. And I'd like to infuse in you as young people the spirit and the culture of reading. And if we can do that, we will be truly a great nation. And this is what I want to encourage all of you to do as you reach for the stars. Today, I leave Mpumalanga. Well, I leave on Saturday after the rally. I leave here very inspired. And I hope that I'll see most of you, if not all of you, at the rally on the 13th, when we celebrate the birth of the African National Congress, when we also begin to look forward to the victory of the African National Congress in this year's elections, so that the ANC can continue with the work it has been doing. And that is why we are going to say, Niyabasabana. Niyabasabana. Siyabafuna. That's why the ANC must win these elections to continue with this process of empowering you. Amandla. Amandla. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Comrade President, and thank you for the disciplined audience. I've attended many meetings, but when people come to a gathering with a purpose, you see it